Good afternoon and thanks for joining us in this edition of 360 Degrees. Some 461,559 Cameroonians have successfully registered into the voters registration list from January 2024 to present. Figures made available this week by Elections Cameroon during their ordinary session. And today we are looking at the build-up to 2025, the issue of alliances splitting from left to right. We are trying to look at the chances of the different alliances and the impact they can create in 2025 elections. Sit tight, look for a glass of water as we shall come back to begin the discussions. Before we come back to welcome our guests, let's revisit some of the news stories of this week.
At least 2 civilians are reported dead and 1 injured in a bomb blast at Oshun village in Batibo subdivision on Wednesday evening. Eyewitnesses say the victims were driving in a Carina e-vehicle when the huge explosive device radiated from beneath the third road of the Trans-African Highway in a loud explosion that shattered the car to many pieces, flying to different directions with a deep crater that almost cut both sides of the highway. One of the separatist leaders has in a social media outing this Thursday claimed responsibility for the incident, stating that the Amazonian Defense Forces originally targeted a passing military convoy of armored cars, but the dead and injured were rushed to the Bamenda Regional Hospital by the military.
Oh Lord, Jesus Christ.
Meters away from the garbage spot here at the EDDY market in Yaoundé, one is welcomed by a strong pungent smell, but these traders sell, eat and drink beside the stinking trash all day. It disturbs us, but we are forced to endure. It is not easy, but we have no choice. As Cameroonians, we have to battle to survive. Money doesn't know odor. I am used to it. It is my office. We eat and drink our beer here. That is the country. We can't do otherwise. They have adopted individual measures to stay healthy in the midst of the nasty situation. As remedy, we drink much water. We don't use nose mask because it scares clients away. But the surrounding is greatly affecting their business, as most clients consider such places as no-go areas. It affects our business. Clients want to come, but the odor keeps chasing them away. We try to convince the clients, flatter them. That is the only way to pull them. But I must tell you, it is a difficult situation. And just like ETAWO, it is a similar situation here at Biamasi and other markets of the capital city, with tons of garbage abandoned for weeks. Worse still, those areas used as urinaries by many.
A total number of citizens registered to vote in Cameroon has now reached 7,823,434. For many within civil society, this figure is considered relatively low. If you try to draw a line between figures that were obtained in 2018, we stood above 6 million francs CFA, and the new figures published now by Elections Cameroon, gives us a difference of 1,155,670 Cameroonians that have registered in the space of 5 to 6 years. And when you narrow it to annual registration, it means EUKAM could only register 280,000 Cameroonians. You will understand that we are far below targets. During the second ordinary session of the Electoral Council, Elections Cameroon disclosed that 461,559 citizens have newly registered on electoral rolls in the past 5 months in Cameroon. For 6 years, we have not advanced. We could only register 7 million Cameroonians. It represents absolutely nothing. I base my arguments taking us back to 2012, when EUKAM in just 6 months succeeded to register at least 5 million Cameroonians. And I ask myself questions: why is the same EUKAM unable to register 1 million Cameroonians yearly? Because if they could register at least 1 million Cameroonians yearly, meaning since 2018, we would have registered at least 11 million Cameroonians as of date. Political observers attribute this surge in new registrations to a growing interest among Cameroonians in the upcoming presidential election in 2025. However, a pressing question remains: when will the political stakeholders audit the electoral register? This major concern was a key topic during the session, as highlighted by human rights advocates.
Having circulated as a mere idea over the months, the Alliance for a Peaceful Transition in Cameroon has finally published its manifesto as presented to the press on June 25th in Yaoundé.
If there's something that you need to remember, is a refounding foundation, the need for a country to stop at one point, check its foundation, build something new, something better, because the old foundation was no good and then the house was falling off. So the foundation is not a political party program. It is a people's need.
Championed by Olivier Billet, Njamin Celestine, Cabral Libil, here represented, and other actors, the movement, they say, is not limited to politicians, but more inclusive for a common goal.
It is not how many people started something, it's how deep that thing is, and then the approach that we have, the openness of the approach. First, rallying as many actors, political and social actors, as we can, but the great aim is the people of Cameroon themselves. They have to take this issue of refounding transition, own it, and then ask from all the political actors that that's what we want. And we intend to achieve this transition peacefully.
As to who will be the flag bearer of the Alliance in 2025, they insist that the focus is on issues and processes to harvest the change through the platform. It is not about people auto-proclaiming themselves. We are here to concert, dialogue and talk. The Alliance is a process of consensus and collaboration on the content. There are other coalitions, but we want to do things differently. As of now, we are not focusing on a particular candidate. We give priority to the front, not candidatures. One of their missions, as highlighted in the guidelines, is to establish great values upon which the nation can rely on to ensure collective well-being, prosperity and social justice.
Those were some of the news stories we had this week. If you are just joining us, you are watching 360 Degrees, and we are beaming live from Upue here in Douala, the economic capital. I have some gentlemen with me in the studio that we shall be going to meet right away. Let's begin with the man we just watched to be part of that report there, for Mr. DJEUKAM TCHAMENI. Did I pronounce the name well, sir?
Yes, you did.
Okay. He is the initiator of the ABC Democracy and a member of the Alliance for a Peaceful Transition in Cameroon. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
Maybe, so that I should not forget, ABC Democracy, can you just give us a brief of what it is?
Yes, ABC Democracy is a platform whose aim is to educate politically the masses, and then train future political leaders.
Thank you so much. And by him, we have NDIMWUM Emmanuel. He's a regular face here. You know him very well. He is of the civil society. Emmanuel, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure renewed to be on your platform. I greet the great minds on which we are going to navigate the 1 hour program together. The topic that has brought me here is of very essence. And of course, every Cameroonian at this particular point in time should be able to find time to come and talk to Cameroonians about a country that was once a country and today the country is taking going down the drain. It's a collective responsibility of all Cameroonians to make sure that they revive and give a rebirth to Cameroon, which has been dying for so long a time.
Let me stay with you. You watch the new figures from Elections Cameroon. Are you satisfied? At this point, we have over 7,800,000 Cameroonians registered.
Well, I'm one of the young people who believe, like Oliver Twist, that is not always very satisfied. You see, we are above 31 million Cameroonians by estimators, since our government has refused to even know how many people they are ruling or they are leading. So the figures would have been far more than that. That would have given me some satisfaction. However, I am still satisfied I am somehow satisfied, but I'm calling on Cameroonians to do more. We need at least 15 million. Because, you know, the CPDM people, they're not very smart when it comes to figures. We can only outsmart them if the figures go on. They cannot steal if the figures multiply.
Anyway, by my left, I have a senior journalist. He is ETAWO, a journalist here in Douala. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you very much, Hyncenth. Welcome, co-panelists. Good afternoon, televiewers.
Thank you so much. Everything being equal, we'll be having FAH Elvis of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement that will be joining us in a few minutes. Maybe let me come back to you, Mr. Tchameni.
Yes, sir.
Alliance for a peaceful transition in Cameroon. Briefly, what is it all about?
The Alliance for Peaceful Transition was formed by a group of political leaders and civil society leaders that are concerned about the future of Cameroon, and then that go from a certain approach. The country is in a great state of disrepair. We cannot use usual approaches like, you know, repainting the walls or changing the curtains. We believe that in every situation you have people that support the status quo, those that want simple alternation, that is change of individuals at the heart of a system that basically remains the same, and then those that are looking for an alternative. The Alliance for Peaceful Transition is looking for an alternative. We believe that the foundation of the country is bad, and then it is that foundation that needs to be addressed. And that process of addressing the foundation means that political parties, for now, they put a little bit on the side their individualized political program. They fight to level the playing field, and then after the transition, now they can go and continue and compete. So that's what this alliance is all about, fundamentally.
Eddie, when you listen to Mr. Tchameni, he gives the impression that they want to rebuild from the scratch.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't belong to that class of people who think that the best way to change is to uproot, throw, and to plant. No, there must be continuity. Yes, there's no country in the world without a tradition. We know where we are coming from. We know where we are going to, and there is some build up to where we are going to. That is the identity. Now, unfortunately, like he said, not many things are going correctly, and I agree with him that there is need for a few things to be changed here and there. So radical change, I don't go with it. I go in a situation where we accept what is there, what is working, and we try to see how we ameliorate what is, as a matter of fact, not working well. And as a matter of fact, there are a few things that need to be changed for the country to be better, like to be a better one. And I also don't have such a gloomy, completely gloomy picture of Cameroon like they're trying to present. I'm one of those people who think that there's still a lot to count in this country. There's still a lot going on, and that just with a bit of luck, just with a bit of effort, just a bit of tact, a bit of deference, will build this country to a very big and prosperous country.
Emmanuel, what is your reading of the platform as he has presented?
Thank you very much for that question. I want to start by saying that the alliance per se is a welcome idea. In fact, I dove my hat to those who thought, they say in the African proverb that many hands, no one hand doesn't tie a bundle. Cameroonians for a very long time have been looking for such an opportunity to see people come together to fight for them. The downtrodden Cameroonian who is down there is obviously looking up to the political class as the people who are supposed to bring change. It is unfortunate that they have failed to bring the long-awaited change. So such an initiative should be applauded. But the question remains, I am talking, one of our panelists is not yet there. I don't know if MRC is part of the alliance.
They have their own alliance.
Yes, and you see that we are now in this phase of divided alliance in the same country. And that is what has killed Cameroon. You see, you permit me quote SDF because they are almost stealing the show as those who are the oldest opposition in Cameroon. But as of the moment, they have very little or nothing to show for. Simply because they have refused any alliance, that they will not be the leader. And so you see, what has killed Cameroon the most now is the kind of political mindset that we have. That if it is not me, if I don't lead, I quit. It gives you an idea already that a common Cameroonian has no hope as we speak now. This is June 2024.
Yes.
By virtue of everything as far as the election is concerned in Cameroon, October 2025 should be presidential election. Also on the field, the question everybody has been asking is, who are we going to vote? Which means that in as much as we can go registering to vote, we might end up not knowing who to vote, because those we are supposed to vote them have refused to come together to show us who we shall vote for. It is very sad again, because this kind of politics, like I said on a sister platform the other day, I think we need to start cleaning the political system in Cameroon as of now. If there is a political party that has existed for more than 10 years without having a councillor, let that party be dissolved with immediate effect. Let that political leader be banned from attending any political rally, except he's going to drop his vote. I mean, as of now, how I wish Yaoundé was listening. But
of course, Yaoundé is listening.
No, Yaoundé is listening, but you know, with the multiplicity of the parties, as I call sometimes Jangi groups, Yaoundé enjoys a lot of support indirectly, because as they are played to the gallery, they have refused to come together. You see that they are prolonging the stay of the regime. Before you take the microphone, the senior journalist says something that has never existed in politics. When you don't, there is no luck in politics. You don't play, you don't change a country, or you don't take a country forward by counting on luck. It doesn't work. It simply works on what maybe my senior brother here and the others are trying to do now. But what they are trying to do, is it already enough? I think there's still much to be done. While we encourage the initiative, we encourage others to put their voices, their effort, their resources together to make sure that such an alliance go through.
Thank you so much.
I think yes. I didn't refer to luck. I am simply saying that my point is, radical change has never helped anywhere.
No, we want change.
It destroys the tradition, what has been built up. Yes, and we need that identity to continue. Please, I'll come back to that.
And that leads me to peaceful transition. let's look at the angle of peaceful transition and how you intend to handle that within the platform.
Okay, before I go, I will have to respond to some very interesting points that my co-panelists have made so far. The first point is the notion of radical change. If your house, if the foundation of your house is in a state of disrepair, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and live in the rain. There are architectural techniques that allow you to fix that foundation as you stay in the house. So the refounding transition aims at fixing the foundation, and there are techniques to do so without necessarily, once you do that foundation, then you can destroy the old, but you have to have something new.
Which are some of the foundation elements that you feel that are not well structured?
If you look at the Cameroon as a whole, you find out that even the Cameroonian man needs to be refounded. That is the way we think, the way we behave collectively and individually is a problem, because we've lived under 60 years of dictatorship that have given most of us to resign in front of our civil responsibility. So that needs to be addressed. We need to address issues like national consciousness. What you see now, Cameroonians have a broken national consciousness, and then the general discourse is a discourse of division rather than finding a consciousness that brings people together. So the point of radical is not really whether it's radical or not, but it is imperative that we change the foundation, because we cannot build a 3-story house on a foundation that was meant to carry just one floor.
No, but I would
and then let me finish, and then, because he said some really interesting things that I would like to address also. It is unfortunate indeed that political leaders have been unable for the past, I would say, 30 years to come together. But I want to give a history here, because I've been in the political scene for quite a long time, almost 40 years or so. And I want to tell you that there are two different approaches to building alliances. There's one which fails, and then the other one that succeeds. If you build an alliance on ideas and principle first, and then look for somebody to carry the idea, then you succeed.
But
if you put the individual first, then you become divisive. So right now, what we are trying to do is to first agree on basic values
and principles.
Once you've agreed on that, then in the last moment you can pick one person to carry that out, and that's what worked in 1992. In 1992, we had first the goals, the programs, we developed it together in the course of about a year and a half. Then we picked John Frundi to be our candidate. It wasn't the other way around. If you had put him first, we would never have achieved the result that we achieved.
It would be like taking the second step before the first.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. And if you are watching us, you can contribute to our talking points through the numbers you have on your screen. Message on WhatsApp or SMS. Please keep your messages short and straight to the point, so that we shall be able to read them out here. And let me welcome FAH Elvis. I told you he was coming. Finally, he's here. FAH Elvis is a journalist and a politician. He militates with the Cameroon Renaissance movement. You're welcome.
Thanks. It's my pleasure being here present, of course. I want to send special thanks to the learned panelists who are quite very much present here. It is a topic calling for concern, and that's why we are here, to give our own points of view regarding the topic which is on board now. So greetings to the militants of CLM, Professor Maurice Kamto, the national president, and also of others, including the people from Gunoko village, as usual, who are watching us wherever they are. It's a pleasure being here.
How is the political alliance for change faring, or how is it growing?
Well, it is growing depending on the level at which we are standing, because the perspectives vary from one individual to another. The main thing is that Cameroonians have been yearning for a coalition, which we agree for the fact that Cameroonians really want an aspect that if the possibility of us coming together and having a single candidate, they would be very happy. But then, if wishes were horses, then beggars would obviously ride. The reality of the ground does not really depict the way people would have loved us to move. And so we are working on present adaptabilities of the ground and on the present situation. I will tell you that the story of coalition did not start today.
Sure.
Since the period of multi-partyism that was introduced in the early 90s till today, coalition have been at the forefront. But then there has been a worry, which is what many Cameroonians are yet to understand, why political parties cannot come together. Now, if you look at it for the coalition's sake, on my part of the party, we had understood it and we studied it carefully and realized that the aspect of putting forth ideologies first together, assuming that there is a particular time when you would then fine-tune strategies of picking one person among, has not worked for the past time in the history of the political history of Cameroon.
That's why you've built it on a candidate.
Good. And why has it not worked? For the simple reason, the regime in Yaoundé is a very cruel regime. When I say cruel, you know what I'm talking about. They are technocrats in masterminding evil political ideology and agenda. What does it mean? For the past time that we tried, even in the last election, what happened was that at each moment that you come together, there's no wahala. The moment is about choosing a candidate. That's when you realize that even the candidates or those who are with you in coalition, who at the beginning were speaking with you in one word, in one tone, one direction, all of a sudden the temperament changes. Why does it change? We realize that the powers that be in a 2G have what it takes to infiltrate. They have what it takes to shatter the coalitions at the dire minute, so as to give kudos on their own part. And because we've understood those mechanisms, I want to tell you, the guys in Yaoundé are not sleeping. As we're talking about coalition, they too are working. And it is always the agenda that at the nick of time, they think they'll always come in. Sometimes I will tell you, and people will not believe that, each time you have a coalition, if not well nurtured, money comes at the tail end. And when the money comes in under hidden sources, you only realize that the member whom you thought was with you on one accord, all of a sudden gets up and changes like a chameleon. And before you know it, the coalition is falling apart. So we understood that. That's the reason why we took a drastic move that even Yaoundé is not believing, that we put forth a coalition and a candidate and then said, this is the move. Now you realize that in the course of moving, now how does Yaoundé penetrate us? It becomes difficult. But if we are left it loose, Yaoundé will not bother. But they know how to come in at the nick of time to take you, my brother or any of us, and then start knocking our head, because after everything they understand that money plays almost everything, but some of us it doesn't go.
Okay, Elvis, I'll be coming back to you. Let me move to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, I want us to look at the leadership of the different coalitions. We were talking, we even forgot that there is a coalition for civil society ahead of 2025, piloted by Dr. Ako John. Now, I want us to look at these two alliances. This one here, piloted by Professor Maurice Kamto and Honorable Ninche. This one, on the other hand, piloted by Professor Billet Olivier and Celestine Germain Cabral Libil, and him sitting here. Does that ring a bell in your head?
It's interesting, and to know that I'm the national treasurer of that coalition of the civil society. However, we want to. I want to underscore here that those things that cause change in every nation has never been bigger things. Sure. You will bear with me that in 1879, what caused the French Revolution was a simple increase in the prices of bread. So these forces put together, one should never undermine them. My problem should be in the approach. I think before Mr. FAH Elvis came in, I had mentioned here earlier that they have a coalition. Olivier Billet and his co has a coalition. He has now come up with another reason why the coalition should not had to unveil who is the leader, and the other person gives us very beautiful ideas why the coalition should not unveil the leader as of now. It becomes problematic there.
Yeah.
Why is it becoming problematic? To Mr. FAH Elvis, you see, for a very long time, all these political parties have been after me. But one of the reasons why I have remained observant for a very long time, I grew up in the family of a mother who is a politician, and I've happened to see the way politics is done in Cameroon. It's not really very much interested in me. I'm not very interested in the active politics. But then, what I'm saying is, the coalition would have made more sense if all of them came together for the same ideology.
We'll look at those possibilities.
Yes. Now you are asking at...
Let's look at the leadership.
The leadership.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of the
well, when you look at the leadership, Cameroonians of today are thinking that they need a new face to lead them. I don't know whether a new face will come from Jupiter or will come from Cameroon. But that is what some people see. Some will tell you that they need Professor Maurice Kamto.
Sure.
Yes, because of his parcours in serving the government and the post activities after of the government. Some people will still say they need Cabral Libi because he's a young man. I don't want to say what I think. I'm just saying what people think. Of course. Those I talk with them on daily basis. But I think I have always looked at the political situation of Cameroon now like at the engine of a car that happens to knock down. And the only way to survive that car is not by painting the walls of the car, the skin of the car. The engine needs to be down. My brother says a while ago that it escaped my mind. No, I think the political machinery of Cameroon needs a retouch right from the engine. The engine is not Hyncenth. The engine is not. No matter how we paint the skin of that car will not move. We need to quietly remove that engine. That engine is in a 2D. Put it somewhere. Repair it completely. No matter how dirty the skin of the car is. Let the engine be able to move the car. Otherwise, our country is left in the hands of people who cannot walk, who cannot move. So they cannot move the country forward. Talking about it, and in that light, if anybody wants to take the leadership of Cameroon, he must present to Cameroonians what these people who can no longer move, who are not able to move Cameroon again, have failed to present in the last 42 years. And I think any coalition, without taking into consideration the plight and the cry of Cameroonians as of now, will be a failed coalition. I'm not wishing it to be a sort, but I'm thinking that we are here to arm ourselves further. I don't have anything against any coalition.
Let me say something about...
Thank you. Yes, briefly before I move back to Mr. Chameni.
With regard to the idea of coalitions, I think this idea is coming a bit late. Yes. If you think that the elections are just next year, and the idea of bringing in a coalition is just beginning, it's just beginning, and they have to move from there to the implementation process. I think the idea of coalition, and that is where the CPDM is going to, it has been there for more than, the machinery has been there. Whether the country is, the engine is not, whether it's irreparable, that is what you think. Those who are there.
No, that's not what I think.
It's an opinion. Nobody is dictating to anybody here. That's what you think. But those who belong to the CPDM know that they have their own word to speak. And that's why everybody has to do his work on time. What I think the coalition, those who are advocating are a bit late is because, for you to change a system like this one, you need to tackle the economic sector and try to, because you don't just talk to the common man. What changes an election in a country, what can help you change a system is the economic sector, especially the private sector. Now, look at the people who matter in Cameroon. In the US, for instance, 2-3 business people can unseat a president. Can change because they know their interests, they know their tax policies, they know what they want, and that is why, even though the common people
trying to create an impact,
yes, even
that
though
will move people,
yes, even though people are complaining, until you move people like Alaji Danpulu, until you move people like these are people who have goods in this country. These are people who know where they stand, and these are people who are benefiting, and these are people who will give in the money. So I don't know how, with this kind of support, politically, financially, the coalition is going to, whichever coalition is going to have its way. That's my.
Thank you so much. Maybe we have 3 different elections in 2025, and each,
if the calendar is respected,
everything being equal, and each alliance is always geared towards something. Which of the elections are you targeting?
Okay, before I go to the elections, I want to say 2 things. The number one thing is that the 2025 election or elections, if there are more than one, will not just by itself just change Cameroon and then make Cameroon into a heaven, So we have to be more strategic in our thinking. 2025 will be a step towards something. So we have to know exactly where we're going first and then have a long-term vision of our country. That's what I want to say. The second thing is that the gentleman clearly, I said here earlier, that in every political situation,
yes,
you have none but 3 postures. You may have 100 political parties and then seem to have 1,000 different ideologies, but they all fall into 3 categories. One category is the status quo posture, that the system, the way it is, it's okay. There's few things to change here and there, just change curtains and stuff, and then that's fine. And then it seems to be of those that think that the system is basically good or okay, and then just few changes here and there. Then you have the second group that would say, oh, the system itself is not good, but it's the people that is the car, to take his image. The car is good, but we just have a bad driver. So if you just change the driver, then you will have a nice trip. That this same car will take us somewhere else. And now you have people like this young man that, in my view, represent the majority of the Cameroonians that think that this car, you can change the driver all you want, you can repaint it all you want, the engine is not good, and then you will not reach Kumba using this car. So once you have those 3 there, then instead of trying to, you will not get people that belong to those 3 political families to be in the same coalition. The people that want the status quo will build a coalition around CPDM. That's what they will do. Cameroon is a democracy now, and then to hope that all people will be into one political party is a hopeless pursuit. We fought for democracy so that everybody can think what they think, and then they can rally around, hopefully, ideas. Now, there's the second coalition, is these people that are saying, Bia must go. If Bia goes, then Cameroon, by some magical thing, will just fix itself.
That's the radical change you were talking about.
Well, I don't think that the people that say Bia must go necessarily want a radical change of the system. They want the system to remain in place, but change the people at the helm of it, and then believe that there are some good people out there, and if we just put them in power, somehow they'll take Cameroon to a greater height, possibly. But it seems to me that if you put God in Etude, you stay in the Francier zone. It seems to me you keep Cameroonians with the same mentality that they have acquired by 60 years of thing. If you do not give yourself a time to, like you say, fix the engine, and then I use the image of reviewing the foundation.
Yes.
If you don't do that, no matter how much you change the curtain, repaint the wall, do all that, you will not arrive at something. So the coalitions will be built around those three
elections.
The three families. Those three families.
Three families, okay.
So now I have to just address
Briefly,
very briefly the notion that historically coalition are always failed in Cameroon. It's not true. In 1992, because when you want to do something, you have to look at the history. Of course, you look at the failures, but we had one success at building a coalition. It was the Union for Change. That had, according to us, that was in the Union for Change, 39% at the presidential election in 1992, and then the CPDM, 36%. But somehow, the CPDM said we had 36% and they had 39%. Fine. But I'm just saying,
electoral body, not
yes,
the CPDM that said.
Whomever. But at the result were that. But I'm saying those same people that gave 36%, remember, as that's the highest score ever performed by an opposition coalition. Yes. You know, after that, people start going, everybody on his own path, and it has been a route of failure. That is, the moment you start building things around individual, you fail. Because John Frundi had 36. When he went alone, he had 17, then 11, and today Joshua has 3.
Thank you so much.
You can't build this thing around individuals.
Yes, thank you so much. Elvis, why does it seem like we are heading towards a situation where everybody will be trying to pull the blanket to his or her side?
Well, as I said, without mixing words, first, if you look at the sociological and anthropological components of the political developments in Cameroon, take into consideration the ethnic, cultural diversity of the country, it makes the grammar we talk about coalition very, very complex. If you go to Senegal or you go to Ghana, they have major ethnic groups. Nigeria, major ethnic groups. When you come to Cameroon, it's true you might have major ethnic groups, but the ethnic groups overall, there are more than 250. First, there's that issue of who is standing, where does he come from? I need to get people from my division first of all to be behind him before any other thing comes. It's really a problem. And why is it a problem? It is because of the foundation under which Cameroon was formed. When you build a country on a foundation base with ethnicity, it has an impact on the political evolution of that country. Now, on the issue of opposition, as I said, it's a very complex thing. Let me not be mixing word here for the simple reason that if, as I said, the master planners are the CPDM, it is a moving machinery. Now, with that moving machinery, as I said, they always know how to do. You will be surprised that you also have to call the presidential majority minority. Some opposition parties come together and say, no, we are supporting the CPDM. But at the beginning, they don't tell you that. They just say, no, we are for change, we are for coalition and all the like. But as I said, in as much as my learned colleague mentioned the fact that coalition worked in the 90s or the 92 or whatever, what I'm saying without mixing was that it will be a pretty difficult issue where we find ourselves. Why? We have evolved from then. If you look at the election that Nijon won and it was seized, first it took Yaoundé unaware. And I think in the dictatorial regime for over 40 years we don't want to take that kind of risk again. To minimize things that's why you see when MRC is coughing, Yaoundé is catching cold, and they will do everything possible to arrest, ban meetings and all the like, because of that fear factor, which I agree with them. They don't want to take things for granted. If you tell me about coalition at the level of municipal, it can be possible. Why do I say it can be possible? Because there you can say that, okay, if MRC, for example, don't have the majority in this area, they can make a coalition with A or B or party also, then they get into council. But we're talking about the level of who leads it, you get a point. Now, even when they were doing the coalition with John Frundi, if I tell you that there was no way that that coalition would have been able to put a candidate out of John Frundi, could you accept? I don't know what you mean.
No, I'm not getting you.
That is that coalition they did with John Frundi. There is no way the coalition will have choose somebody apart from John Frundi. Do you know why?
Meaning John Frundi was the center point.
Yeah, do you know why?
It was not.
Now let me come.
I was there.
Let him finish.
No, let me answer.
Let him finish and you
the reason why it will not have been anybody apart from John Frundi is because, one, the coalition members at that time knew that John Frundi was the first to reckon with. That was a fact.
In other words,
you are telling us that,
yes, you are telling us that in 2024,
because coalition. What is issue of coalition? Let's take Senegal, forgetting about the discrepancies between Senegal's political landscape and Cameroon. When you look at Sonko and their present FAH and their present government now, what happened? They had their minor coalition, But the thing is that they knew that they were forced to reckon with. Because the bad thing in coalition is bad faith. That I come together with Emmanuel, and I know that Emmanuel has a stamina than me, not so. By the end, I tell Emmanuel that even though you have stamina, because we all know our way.
Yes.
That's the bitter truth in political landscape. I know that this man is more powerful than me. But it becomes ridiculous that Emmanuel is powerful than me. Then I come together 9 minutes. I tell Emmanuel that no, I must be the presidential candidate. When Emmanuel and I know that he has the groundwork in terms of reputation than myself, it becomes dishonest on my part that I will say Emmanuel should be that I should be the presidential candidate instead of him. So these are the realities that makes it difficult because one, politically we are not honest. I want to let you know that those who are honest in coalition, just like what Nietzsche came, when Nietzsche came up, Nietzsche told us, I will not hide it, that he knows that we have a ground. And that's why Nietzsche wasted no time to say that, okay, I align with you, let the president candidate be ahead. I'm talking about others should do the same.
Yes.
I'm just giving us an example.
Yes.
So where a political party has weight, we must be able to call a spade to say, no, truly, this person has weight. And the truth in Cameroon is that, my brother Hyncenth, it will be difficult for a man that has weight to succumb to a man that he knows that they're in coalition, but he does not have that weight of reputation. Because if you do that, you betray the followers. And if you do that, be surprised that you don't get the result, because the followers will think that you have sold something in the coalition, and they might tend to even give it to a CPDM.
That's true.
And CPDM wins. It's automatic. They say, but how can this man who knows that we have a following decides not to take with this person who is presenting maybe only Momo division? And it tells me that this man from Momo division is the presidential candidate in the coalition, when the other person has a around the 10 regions. It becomes questionable. That's a fact. Thank you.
May I give some historical facts?
Yes.
Some historical facts that are very crucial.
Briefly, please.
John Fundi was not,
At the center of the coalition.
he was not, until he was chosen as the candidate. He was. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
It's very. Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
I was present. I was a founding member of the coordination in 1991. The people that were stars were Yondo Black, then Eboa. John Fundi was chosen at the
SDM at that time. Nobody.
No. That's so. Hold on. I am telling you what I did. I'm not telling you what I read in the newspaper.
Right.
What we did, I participated in it. The people that had the clout was Yondo Black at one point, and then after that it kind of failed, and Eboa took over. But when it came time to pick a candidate for the Union of Change, I would reveal something to you. I would say I was at the heart of the strategic cell that was deciding. We wanted to pick Cardinal Toumi.
Yes.
Because we were going for a transition of 3 years. And then we wanted somebody from the civil society. We told the political parties, all of you just wait. We will do the transition, level the playing field, and then in 3 years, so we were looking for a civil society personality, respected by all and everything, and then Cardinal Toumi refused. When he refused, then we pick among the politicians the one, not that was strongest, but the one that that appear in the eyes of the people as the one less likely or more likely, say, to leave the power after 3 years, because in their eyes he was least qualified. It's funny as you can think, but when you sat Fundi at the time with Eboa, you know, the person that was presidentiable was clearly Eboa.
Thank you.
That part of the history is very, very important.
I think we have gotten
even an SDM will not agree with you.
No, it doesn't matter whether I agree or not. It's history. It's history.
Please, permit me just take one message.
When he became now the candidate,
many of them, we have many of them. Let's just take one for now. Good afternoon to you all. I am Afanu Evans from Penja, Mongo Division. I am very happy for the program because our country today is really facing a lot of political problems as compared in the past. I just want to contribute that any political party must have a good, powerful leader, and also has an opposition, and also as opposition parties, and also all opposition parties should come together and not conflicting between themselves. Once again, thanks for. Okay, I think you got the point. Like it's not time for opposition political parties to be fighting. They should rather come together.
But sadly, that's the reality.
Yes. Now,
Emmanuel,
when you listen to both panelists here, what would you say are the chances of the opposition in 2025?
Good question. This is what I've been saying. If you want to cut a tree, dig it from the roots. That is where the opposition has failed. I'm saying it failed in capital letters. To think that change in Cameroon must come only from A to D is where the opposition has been failing for a very long time. This is what I've been saying. In the coalition for civil society, I've been saying, I don't have any intention to go in for any post, but I encourage those who have an intention to start from the base.
Sure.
If you start from the base, a councillor in Cameroon is one of the most important and potential elements in changing politics.
Sure.
A lot of these politicians, like I said a while ago, if a political party has existed for 10 years without having at least a council, let it be dissolved. Let the political leader be
it means they
driven away from the political sphere. They are not doing anything. They are scamming Cameroonians. So I'm saying that the coalition should not focus on A to D. We can abandon A to D to Mr. Bia and his cabal and just start from having councillors, mayors, senators. It has a political chain effect, because since it begins from the base, taking out A to D will be the easiest thing to come in the days ahead. You see, what has been maintaining A to D, you actually know, like, I mean, you are a journalist, you might want to play a fair one of, I mean, not, I am telling you that the parliament and the senate is owned by the executive arm of the government of this country. They never decide anything. Do you know that the recent bill that claimed to have been signed by the parliament, the first parliament, without citing his name, the first parliamentarian I placed my call to was surprised. He was not aware of the bill. Can you imagine that? Which means that it came from somewhere. That's why I take this second to thank the Kenyans for rising up to the occasion, for revising, for telling the government that we are your employers and the government, you are our employees. It's time for Cameroonians and the opposition to know that the Cameroonian population, the people, the citizens, are their employers and they remain the employees. If they don't know this and take this serious, then we are joking. Because forget about it today. Like he said, I agree with him that the coalition is coming a little late to fight against it today. But it is not late to go in for councillors, mayors, parliamentarians, senators. And personally, I can go to the field to campaign for those who are going. But I know those who can become presidents in this country. And I know those who can never become councillors. And you see, even with this coalition, you see some faces there that to me, they are just opportunists. They are just coming maybe to get an image from those who have already made the image.
Has to be relevant in the
yes, to be
landscape.
relevant in the political landscape. If you give them 1 years, they will never win. They will never own a councillor in this country. Those people, these political parties that do not have either a secretariat, you cannot know where to trace them. They don't have a councillor. They have a parliamentarian. I said they should be dissolved with immediate effect, except for the fact that they are
in their briefcase.
Yes, their political parties are moving in their suitcases, in their bars, and what not. So I think, if not for the fact that they were saving Yaoundé, a good one, to remain there, I think, in all honesty, if we were to bring sanctity to our political landscape, let such political parties be dissolved.
Thank you so much. Before I come to you, I see you itching to react. Let's take one other message. We have many of them. Greetings to all in 360 degrees. How can someone say radical change has never been of help to a country? Radical change has been a solution to African politics. With the case of Cameroon, all Cameroonians need to be radical to change Cameroon back to become a beautiful country. And that is coming from Prince Peter in Yaoundé, and I need to say the change is supposed to come through the ballot box, because he's making reference to other African countries, and we don't want maybe the other radical way.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the change has to come through the ballot box. And that is what, I think that is what the opposition parties, those who are clamoring for coalitions, and even civil society bodies, that is what they should be doing now, to encourage people to register massively. Without registration, without people registering, people like civil society organizations should probe Electoral and find out what Electoral is doing, facilitate ways and make ways for people to have access to casting their vote. If you don't cast your vote for whom you want, then you don't blame people when somebody is there. However, I would like to let my man understand that we are in a democracy and we need to respect the way people operate. If a man creates his political party and decides to stay in inactivity, we allow him there. No, if he wants to make it active, if he wants to make it active to win the election, that's his problem. You need to respect people and what charlatans move them out of how are they killing the political party? They have no following. They are there on briefcase. No, I mean, it's only an active. You can't compare Maurice Kamto's party today with some of this motion party. The impact is there. The personality of the people who are there, we know them. So don't create a problem where there's no problem. No. Don't worry about people who have their problem.
Elvis, we are almost moving out. I just want to ask this.
Yeah.
Do you see possibilities of all the different alliances coming together to fight for a common goal?
No, it's not possible. Let me be honest with you, because you don't first of all know those who are playing the taboo behind those alliances. You don't know. So there are genuine ones and there are ones that are not genuine. It's normal in the political landscape. So I don't want us to make as if Cameroon is a different. It is a very normal thing that you have genuine ones and not genuine ones. So it is very difficult with our cosmopolitan nature that I told you, ethnicity. But at the end of it, like what the woman once said, that most of the coalitions, you know, they are working for the president. Anyway, I don't blame because civil society is not in the system. I think we work on the ground, you understand? I am coming from the ground, I will be working on the ground. And that's why I said that it will surprise many persons at the outcome, because we have understood that working on the ground, if you look at the electoral voter registry, Minat has been after us. Why? Because we take it as a crusade. And to Minat, it's like we are campaigning at the same time. So why is the number increasing? Because people are becoming more and more. Let me just wrap up.
Some say the number is more.
No, let me wrap up.
Compared to what the work they see you do.
What you will get before December 31st. I want to let Cameroonians know.
August 31st.
August 31st, sorry. Yes. Before August 31st, the number you will see, you'll be surprised, it will get closer to 9 million. What am I saying so? Because we have done groundwork. Civil society have done a good job. The church has done a good job. Let me not hide it from you. Because the church has never before encouraged Christians to go and register, but now it's happening.
Yes.
There is a spirit of awakening, which I can say that people should not bother more about coalition. Register first. As the machinery is moving, you can look for yourself. Those who think that they are serious, you cast your votes to them. If CPD is serious, cast your vote to them. We don't have any problem.
Thank you.
All is that there will be the change, and the change is on course. It will never be business as usual. Any iota of embezzlement or malfunction of the electoral process, we will not take it lightly. It will not be business as usual. Yaoundé, Kangaroo system, take special note.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Elvis. We are moving out. Yes. Let me just give you the mic for the last time.
Okay.
Yes. What should we take home from here as the way forward, or maybe the main issue behind the coalition?
Okay. The thing to remember is that the final arbiter, and not the head of political parties, and not the head of civil society organization, is the people of Cameroon themselves. So as we talk and then we address ourselves to them, they ultimately will be the one to decide which way they end up going. And I am not pessimistic, as my brother here, about the fact that the various coalitions, because there's these three of them, as far as I know so far, that are not the one of the CPDM. There's, of course, APC, ATP, and then there's one that is being built by SDF at this point, that's called Mouvement des Forces Progressistes.
Yeah,
they need to be open to speak to each other. And then this notion of suspicion, is something that people should just stop, because, if you have somebody like Nzonga that belong to a party that say now you want radical change, how will you not be suspicious if you know the history of a person? But we cannot go around being suspicious. People can change. And then the fact also is that even in 36, when we had 36%, not all the people were in Union for Change. You had other candidates. So the fact of trying to stop other people from presenting themselves is not the issue. It's to get to the people, get the right message, get the people to get out and vote.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And as we are moving out, yesterday I came across one coalition, which is a coalition for an Anglophone candidate. I think that has been launched by the Popular Action Party. Emmanuel, I'm sorry I'll not be able to give you the map for the last time. They will come. So it is here that we draw the curtains of the program. If you missed out on anything, the rebroadcast of this program is on Wednesday at 11 p.m. Until we meet again next Saturday, go get yourself registered, because that is the only weapon you have in 2025. Bye-bye.